Hello, I have a question for you. Have you ever been in a vulnerable position and been stung when you were in that position? Yes? Good. Because it just so happens that when we are kind of stung in a vulnerable position, that can lead to some of our most transformational growth when it comes to accessing and understanding our truth. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Awaken Your Instinct. I'm your host, Lileithpolite, and I'm so excited to tell you and share about 3 ways being vulnerable can instantly reveal your truth and true nature. Okay, but first of all, I'm a belly dancer. I'm a belly dance teacher, and I'm also a personal coach. In my 9-week personal development program called Awaken Your Instinct, we actually dig deep into truth and true nature. First we access it, then we ignite it, and then we unleash it. Now, many people I know, including maybe you, are dying to live life freely, living life unleashed, if you will. Wouldn't you want that? Yes, we all would, I think. But I think the reason that a lot of people don't live that way is because they don't first understand and access what their truth is so that they can live it. And that is why it is so important and valuable to get vulnerable and to understand the value of being vulnerable, okay? Because when you choose to live a free life, live a life unleashed, you are going to encounter obstacles. You are going to encounter challenges, and it is not easy, and that's why a lot of people don't actually do it. But in order to do that, you must first be so resolved in who you are, what you believe in, and your truth that nothing and no one can shake it, okay? All right, so let us get into the 3 ways that getting vulnerable can instantly reveal your true nature. Number 1, it tells us what makes us uncomfortable. This leads to learning about ourselves. So I'll just use a quick example for myself, and that is when I take my own belly dance classes from my teachers, and they want me to improv for them. Oh my gosh, is there anything worse than my teacher wanting to observe me doing improv? I mean, could I feel more uncomfortable in that situation? No, I couldn't. So what that does is that helps me see like what is it about that makes me uncomfortable, right? Because I get that feeling of being uncomfortable. That vulnerable position I'm in is that of my teacher who I look up to, who I admire, who I study with, who I get vulnerable with all the time, wants to look at me and assess me and critique me for my own good, yes, but that's the vulnerable position I'm in. And what that shows me when I get that uncomfortable about it is that I feel completely inadequate as a dancer, that I feel like I'm judging, like the teacher is going to be judging me and I don't want to know what they have to say. And then that leads into me judging myself. So those are all 3 realizations that I have when I get uncomfortable in a really vulnerable position, and that reveals the truth of who I am and who I am at least right then. And then I can take that and work with it, learn from it, and overcome that. But first I have to learn that. I have to learn what that truth is, you know? So that's number 1. It tells us our discomfort. Number 2, it shows us how we really feel. Have you ever heard, of course, I'm sure you have, no, really, tell us how you really feel, so-and-so. Well, you know, one of the things I notice is with my husband, if I am really emotional and upset, or if we are having any kind of, you know, disagreement, or even if it is my issue and I'm like in a weird funk or something, I'm telling you what, sometimes I don't know how I feel until I just start crying. And then when I start crying, like everything comes out, you know. I do think crying is a vulnerability, or It makes us feel vulnerable when we're crying. That's why we don't ever want anyone to see us cry. That's why we don't want to cry at work. We don't want to look vulnerable or weak. But when we do get vulnerable like that and cry, it's crazy how deep and truthful we become, right? So that's another way, is it shows us how we really feel. And there have been times when I'll say things when I've been crying and I'm just like, whoa, and maybe my husband is like, well, why didn't you tell me that before? And I was like, I didn't know I felt that way. I didn't know that's what I was feeling until we got to this point of sharing. So it's really cool. You can learn how you really feel from getting vulnerable. And number 3, it leads to us accepting ourselves. So it's really important, as we are on a journey of truth, on a journey of living free, to accept ourselves, all of ourselves. Okay? So knowing our truth, getting vulnerable, and knowing our truth helps us to accept that truth about ourselves, the good and the bad. And we can change the things we want to change, but some things, it's just like, well, it just worked out that way. So let me be more specific here. Okay. There was a time, a few years ago, when I was doing videos just like this, and I was revealing a lot. I just felt, there was just a lot. I was putting myself out there a lot, and somebody said something about people that do what I do. I don't want to be too specific because I'm not trying to call anyone out. And they said that on social media, and I took it very personally. And I lashed out at that person, and I lashed out on my page. And the way that turned out was not very good. And I started questioning myself, like, how can you be a coach and be behaving this way? How can you think that you can tell anyone how they should be, or what's the best approach to this, that, or the third, but you're going around being this way? And it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I let that part of me show. And I thought, but I just wish that I could take it all back, but then I couldn't take it all back, right? Because it was out there and the damage was done, whatever damage that was. And then I finally came to an acceptance point where I said, you know what? I'm perfectly imperfect. I did what I did. I can go forward and learn from it. But I kind of am not sorry that it worked out this way, because it showed me how to accept myself. And it made me stronger. So every time we get vulnerable and we learn something about ourselves, it's like a step up, okay? And then I did this shitty thing, and then I survived it. I accept it, and now I get a step up. Okay, so now I'm digressing, but getting vulnerable, so that's what it was, is I was vulnerable because I was sharing things, I was communicating feelings that I really shouldn't have been communicating, or I would say weren't my best side. I didn't show my best side that day. But at the end of the day, it helped me accept myself. And it showed me, what it showed me about my truth is that I'm not perfect, and that I can improve, and that sometimes it's for the best to share our perfect imperfections, right? Okay, so I am hoping that made sense. It made sense to me at the time. I'm glad that I got vulnerable in all of these positions and situations, because they were so revealing to me about my truth and about just how I can learn about myself and overcome obstacles, overcome things where I want to grow and be better. But first I had to know that truth, okay? And it revealed the way that I feel and think. So that's just to summarize 3 ways that getting vulnerable instantly reveals our true nature is by telling us what makes us uncomfortable, showing us how we really feel, and by helping us to accept our truth. So thank you everyone for joining. If you liked this video, would you like it? Even if somebody might need to hear it, would you share it? And if you like any of my videos, would you please subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing these to you? Because of course I hope to grow and offer more content in the future. Also, finally, if you want to work with me, if you want to learn belly dance, if you want to hire a belly dancer, or if you just want to look into working with me as your coach, then I've got all my information down there in the description box below. You're welcome to check into that. I would look forward to hearing from you. And thanks everyone again, and I will be back next week with more content.